We haven't done it on my stream in a while.
It's like going back to home. This feels great.
Going back to home. I can spam as much DMCA music as I want. I
can play whatever now.
I can say any swears I want. I don't care about getting demonetized.
Wow.
Couldn't possibly care less.
My last thing before my computer crashed for the third time was a very in-depth conversation trying to teach people about how federal law with copyrights worked. It was fun.
Nice. That sounds like Rivet. Let's just start off the podcast like that.
No. I was like, oh man, I forgot. I was given some fire advice today. I don't remember what it was, and it was stupid. It was like I was in a fever dream, ranting about nonsense. But it was good advice.
It was great advice, but coming from a raving madman.
What is today? Oh, I need to submit those deck lists. I'll do it later.
Oh, Saucy's gonna get in trouble.
Whatever. What are they gonna do? Fire me?
All right. You know what? Fuck it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Runeterrable Radio. I am Blevins. With me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, friend? How's it going?
It is going great. We are back, at least temporarily, on my channel for the live stream, which is great because guess what? We can say whatever the fuck we want. Not that we couldn't anyways, but we can also do really stupid bits and play as much DMCA music as I want. And I don't care if I get banned from Twitch. I have the local recording to put in podcast land. So too hot for Twitch. But Saucy, we're also joined by a special guest. We've got the one and only Liberty. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Super excited to have you on and talk about a little bit of lore, because we're in a we got a couple of things coming up in LOR, but we've got a little bit of a lull, so we can really dive deep into how the sort of fun we've been having, what's been going on in the community, and all that good stuff like we normally would. So, which is pretty sweet. But of course, we've got a little bit of housekeeping here. So if any of you are listening to this from the Mastering Runeterra world with Majin Bay and Jason Ferrant, both of which have been on our show and friends of the podcast. Jason hit me up a little while ago and was like, "Hey, do you want to do like a?" He didn't say this, but I'm saying it, and now I'm putting words in his mouth. Do you want to
now
be
it's
like
canon.
Do you want to be like sister podcasts? And I'm like, yeah, why couldn't we be brother podcasts? But okay.
It has to be a sister. It's like there's a legal, there's like legal representation.
He said brother, and I said no. I demand that we're sister podcasts.
Yeah,
but we're doing a little cross promo. So wanted to, if you're unfamiliar with their podcast and you're looking for like a more like strategy and gameplay focus than us, because if that's what you're here for, sorry.
You've screwed up greatly.
You have messed up, but make sure you're checking them out. Mastering Runeterra on all the podcast platforms and all that stuff. It's with Majin Bay, seasonal tournament winner, and Jason Florent. Who does not know that name, Florent?
Who we just recently had on the show not too long ago.
What was it, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Both of them.
We had both of them on within the last month or so. They do have a Patreon and a Discord community, and this weekend they're holding a $1,000 tournament before the seasonal. So the week before the seasonal. The
best thing about that tournament, if you are listening to this, is I'm in the tournament.
You're playing?
I'm playing it.
Wait, you're playing in it? Oh, that's sick. I didn't know that you were playing in it. That's awesome.
Yep. Oh. So yeah, I'll be playing in it. I've got my deck lists figured out. They're good decks that I'm bringing.
Oh, well,
there's no Lee Sin Zoe. That's all I can say.
So Jason Ferrant and Majin Bay are going to be casting, but also myself and Boulevard are going to be on the analyst desk. So we've got some fun antics going on for that. So make sure you check them out and all that good stuff. Okay, we got housekeeping done. So let's talk about our guest, Liberty.
Yo.
Let the people know.
It's time to dive into your life.
That's right.
In. So let people know what sort of your gaming background. What games have you played before? What got you?
Who are
gaming?
you?
Yeah.
Tell the
Who
people
are
who you are.
you?
I have do not have a ton of gaming background, like at a very competitive level. I'm more of a for fun gamer in the past. But I kind of got into Runeterra around December, being like, hey, wait a minute, this is a seasonal tournament. I like card games. I'm sure I could do decently. And so that's what really got me into the more competitive side of Runeterra. Like I'm not pushing the top of the ladder, but I like to try to hit masters every season. And honestly, yeah, I have a lot of experience in like physical board games and card games,
Okay.
and so I really enjoy kind of thinking through plays, considering options, weighing benefits and bads. That's why we're not playing shooters where we don't have to use mechanics in Legends of Runeterra. That's the big plus.
Very true. I feel that one wholeheartedly. What games did you play sort of in paper?
I grew up with Catan, that kind of stuff. Okay. Just a whole there's a kind of thing going on in Europe where they're calling it like the golden age of board games for some reason. And so I just crap ton of just different Euro games from Britain, from Germany. I just had a small community of friends who really enjoyed just trying out every decent board game that came out. Someone would buy it and we could all play it together.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I was really into board games when I literally lived above a hobby store. So like every single game came in, so we got to play everything, and like we would teach people how to play and all that. So like it was like, oh hey, legit, new customer, you want to learn how to play this new game that just came in that we also want to learn how to play? Well, no, come on, sit down, we'll bust it open.
No, this is a good plan. Just come sit here for 3 hours.
Family of 4 that just needed to use the bathroom. Boy, did they get roped into 8 hours of
doesn't matter
of
Mansions of Madness.
No, what was the Shadows over Camelot is the one. I love that
game. Yes.
It's very fun. It's very long.
Yeah.
If your idea of fun is picking up a new rule booklet, learning a game, and seeing if you can beat your friends on a game that you've all just played for the first time, then it makes sense like why Runeterra would be a very attractive game to pick up.
True.
Absolutely. And is that sort of what you've liked about Runeterra? I mean, what has really, obviously coming from like Euro games, there's certainly the, economy management and whatnot kind of in Runeterra, resource management, but
for sure.
What's really pushed you more into Runeterra?
I'm a big Riot fanboy. I like my League of Legends. I haven't been playing it for very long. I only stumbled into it I don't know, 2-3 years ago. But I'm a big fan of their world. I'm a big fan of the Runeterra universe. And so it's cool to play a game where we've got the champions chatting with each other, got the world alive, got all the sound effects, got all the lore on all the cards, just the amazing art. It's just a very living card game. And so when it comes to the other, I guess, card game options, this one, it's a world above. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really, like, even more than Hearthstone, you really feel like the cards are, like you said, living. Like they are alive. They are interacting with each other, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, all of the voice acting and the interactions between them all, and you definitely have a lot of feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Hearthstone has lots of voice acting and sound effects, but it feels like kind of like a gimmick. Like it feels like I don't know. It feels like a card game. Runeterra feels like they actually tried to make it all feels very present.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice.
Well, you can tell when like there's different interactions between different champions for different things, or like when they it's like you don't even necessarily know when you play a champion or a unit like what they're going to say necessarily. Like they've got multiple. Whereas like all I can think of is everyone get in here, everyone get in here, or my claws that bite, my jaws that bite, my claws that. It's like over and over and over and over again, which is so funny. But
I will say I'm always continually surprised when I pick up a new deck and then I learn a new champion interaction.
Yeah.
I think it was Nocturne into Zoe, into a allied Nocturne into an enemy Zoe that I had just never heard before. It's just always surprising, all of the different lore that's just sprinkled through all the different champion interactions of like, oh, you know, turns out Zoe and Lux aren't best pals. Who would have known, you know? Who would have known?
I actually heard one on your stream, Saucy, the other day that I had heard for the first time that I thought was hilarious. It was
which one?
It was Braum into Lysandra.
Oh yeah,
he's like, is it the mustache? And she's like, no.
No. It's just no.
So good. Oh, so good.
Poor Braum.
You know, it's okay. Sometimes it happens. I forgot the one I really liked that I've been here recently was the Sivir and Renekton interaction. She says something about like she says something like I'm gonna collect some alligator tears, and he's like, it's a crocodile. That's really good.
Warwick, is that you?
Yeah, dude. You know, I've been in TFT. Warwick's back.
Yes.
I apologize. This is my one official apology for anyone listening. Warwick is back in season. It's going to be random Warwick time for the next, few months. So
true.
That's all I got. So we're one apology.
He's also a one cost now, or he's back to being a one cost now, so you get to hear him even more than you would.
All the Warwicks, all the time. For anyone who doesn't know, Teamfight Tactics. The new set is in the PBE right now, and that's going to be a great addiction of mine. So you'll get a lot of TFT talk.
Same.
I got to get on that. Yeah, I played a lot of TFT before I got into Runeterra, because they both kind of fill a similar spot in the Riot game space of, a non-mechanics based game. And so I would always push like at least gold in TFT. Nice. But the problem is that in the old sets, once you've played like 80, 200 games, like it gets very boring and repetitive, it feels like. And so with this one, with the new mechanics being introduced, I've only just read them over, just skimmed them. But it feels like there's a lot more replayability in this next upcoming set. So I'm really hyped about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck it. Let's do a little TFT talk, because it does definitely go into Runeterra. So a little bit of context. So when we started the Runeterra podcast, I was full-time doing a TFT podcast as well. The TFT podcast is currently on hiatus, but I came in, obviously before Runeterra came out, thinking like, oh, I wonder how these games are going to interact together, because and the communities are going to interact, because and we've talked about this on the show before, so the regulars are going to be like, oh, they're going into this conversation again. But it's very interesting how the community, I mean, the games are obviously very different, but how the communities are very different. TFT is very much, to me, feels like, okay, MOBA and League people are now playing a strategy game, whereas Legends of Runeterra, there's some of that for sure. Legends of Runeterra is more like card game people are playing the League card game, rather than like that's what it feels like to me.
That makes sense to me.
Super interesting, but people like,
I mean, honestly, a big factor of that is that the TFTs in the client and Runeterra isn't.
True.
So you're going to have a lot more people trying out TFT having, just lost 3 games in a row in League than trying Runeterra.
Wouldn't know. That's like never lost a game of League. So.
That's right.
I definitely never lost in Wild Rift either. I definitely never lost when I was.
Yeah, that one I have.
Wild Rift.
That one I've lost.
I gotta figure out how to get Runeterra Wild Rift set up to be able to stream, because I've been playing that so stinking much, and I just want an excuse to play it more.
Same.
Oh my gosh.
How do you?
So freaking addictive.
Is it easy for you to stream, Saucy?
It's super easy if you have an iOS device.
Oh, okay.
So if you have an iPhone or iPad, it's real easy.
I do have an iPhone. I'll message you later to figure it out.
It's the easiest thing ever.
Wow.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, give me in on that convo as
Yeah,
well. Who knows?
we'll sit down and figure this one out.
Might be getting a little stream game back on. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, back to LOR, at least a little bit. So Wild Rift, TFT, both great games.
Heard about them.
I've definitely heard about them and played them.
Liberty, we've been friends for a while. I've known you for a little bit, and you primarily are creating content for Legends of Runeterra. You're putting out a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of Twitch streams,
daily YouTube videos.
Yeah, daily YouTube videos, which is great. What are your like your goals? What are your goals for Runeterra for content creation? What are you trying to do?
See, that's a great question. I wish I had a straightforward answer. But basically, like I've got a bachelor's degree in economics. You know, I've done the normal life stuff. And I'm like, hey, screw it. I don't want to go work at a bank. I don't want to go work for the government. I don't want to go do expense reports for some company.
But
I want to do streaming.
It sounds so fun.
Because it's so freaking boring. It's like taking all of the the thing is that I say Runeterra is a living card game with reason. When you take all of the voice lines, the graphics, you strip it all away, you have sync and accounting, with a little bit of RNG. So that it's the having life is really important to having emotion and stuff. I am I've got a math brain but an artist heart. I can't bear to just stare at spreadsheets all day. Anyway, so I decided, screw it. I'm gonna throw in my lot. I'm gonna become a full-time streamer, a full-time content creator. I'm gonna live every 12-year-old's dream. And so that's what we're doing. We're full-time trying to pursue content creation. So hence the strategy for that being, daily YouTube videos is a good start towards that. And as I get more proficient with that, we'll start exploring other opportunities for growth.
Love it. Love to hear it. I also just absolutely love the line that Runeterra is just accounting with a little bit of RNG. That's so funny to me.
It's basically the same thing.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, a lot of the on a not even joking, a lot of the concepts, not from Runeterra, because I didn't grow up with Runeterra, obviously, because I'm old, but from like Magic and poker, like I use those as my like life philosophies and like how you like risk management. And
it's I guess it's kind of a little less in Runeterra because we have the Oracle Eye that works 80% of the time, 70% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was getting
cheating, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting better at Magic and you're taking it seriously, like I had my people I practiced with, like the best way to get better at Magic is to get better at math. Like it's one of the biggest skills in card games. And sometimes the Oracle Eye breaks and we can't use it. So
true.
Always important to be able to figure out all the effects going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oracle Eye. We praise the Oracle Eye.
It's such a good idea. It's like whoever created Oracle Eye, it's just a good smarts on your part.
We talked with Umbridge, and I don't remember. I don't know if he credited anyone specifically, but I remember him saying someone on the team was very vehement about getting it done, and and someone else, I don't know if it was him, was like, "This is going to be a lot of work on the back end to do this. Are we sure we want to do this?"
Oof.
And they ended up saying yes, which is, I think, we as a community, it's kind of a thankless job, I think, sometimes, because boy, is that Oracle Eye amazing.
For better or for worse, that thing single-handedly boosts, a good half of the players you play. If
True.
the amount of carrying it does when choosing your blockers or attackers.
True.
It's just ridiculous.
I always love when you play against someone who you can tell definitely is not using the Oracle properly, because I've been playing a smattering of various Dreadway decks, and that makes math a little different. And so, like, earlier, I might have had 2 Fun Smiths and a couple Dreadways out, and my Get Excited did a little bit of damage. Just like, some stuff like that.
So how does Dreadway and Funsmith work?
The Funsmith happens first, and then the Dreadway doubles the damage.
It doubles it at the end?
Yep. So if you have so like if you have a Get Excited and a Funsmith and a Dreadway, it takes the 3 plus 1, and it would be an 8.
Okay. I guess it.
And if you have 2, it's
disgusting.
16.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yep. Yeah, I had a 20 damage Get Excited. It was pretty cool.
Oh!
Oops.
Well, there's some YouTube content.
Yeah, we were playing Teemo Dreadway as normal people do. Get those mushrooms dealing extra damage. It's great.
Now
does Funsmith doesn't stack with shrooms, right? It's just the Dreadway.
Funsmith doesn't.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, but Dreadway does. So here's the question: if you have Dreadway out and your opponent has leveled Lysandra, does it?
It would do a damage.
It'll do damage.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, because the mushroom does 2 damage, so it takes off 1 for the tough,
right?
And it hits him.
I was wondering if it was like the mushroom does 0 damage and it doubles 0, but it doesn't.
We countered Lysandra. Easy. Just played Dreadway.
All it took was now an 8 mana unit. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of awesome cards and cool things to do in Runeterra, Liberty, we got to ask you, what are your 3 favorite cards in LOR?
3 favorite cards. Oh, that's quite a lot of cards there.
I mean, you only have hundreds to choose from.
I'm going to change the question up. I'm going to go for 3 favorite combos.
Sure.
Okay, I love
that's
it.
even better.
So, my first favorite combo was when I had first started playing. First season, we were pushing to Masters. I figured out the sheer amazingness of Judgment Fiora cheese.
Yeah.
It's 11 mana win the game for the 2 of them together.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to, disrespect your opponent and leave 8 mana up, and then just see if they full swing at you. It's just brilliant. Always enjoyed that one. I regardless of the meta, if I'm running Fiora, I have One of Judgment. It's just a necessity.
Love it.
Gotta have those together. The other one would be the let's see, a Scar Mother into, I guess it's a 3-card combo. It's kind of a 2-card combo, but it really helps to have Scar Grounds down. So it'd be Scar Grounds into Scar Mother into the Basilisk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The 7 mana one?
Yeah, there is no stronger amount of raw damage in the game than that combo. Because Scar Mother gets up to, I don't even know. She's a 5 plus, 16?
Yeah.
So so she ends up being or she started at 3. She probably starts at 3. That's
yeah.
Yeah. So what? She becomes a 19.
Yeah.
19-7 overwhelm with tough.
You love to see it.
And then the Basilisk already is a 5 overwhelm. That's no shabby drop either.
Yep.
That is the really fun thing about Scar Grounds is there's never a point in the game where you can't win in one swing.
True.
You can't stop that combo. I mean, there's stinking answers, but you guys know what.
Yeah.
It's really fun playing that into newer players and just slowly losing the game, and then you drop that combo and they're like, well shoot, I was winning the whole game. What happened? It's a broken as hell combo. Okay, well I was only thinking of 2 combos. Now I've got to scramble and reach for a third.
See, you didn't spread yourself thin enough. Now you got to find another one.
Okay, I gotta find another third combo. I did.
You played yourself.
Yep.
Huh.
This interlude brought to you by AMC's The Walking Dead.
You've been waiting so much.
So long to do this. It feels so good to be able to play the stupid drops.
I think I'm gonna have to go for the current Lucian Azir rally combos.
Ooh, okay.
So I actually have been uploading some clips to Runeterra, funny moments, because that's getting my name out there. And I uploaded a clip where I was swinging with the Lucian and a board of 4 units. They played a box, killing the 4 units, so my Lucian was level to the swing. So I decided to play a Shapestone on the Lucian, get in a cheeky, like, absurd amount of damage, right? Turns out I missed a lethal. So I like they were at basically full, but there was a way I could have rallied, and then because there was a Zir, so there created a Sand Soldier, and that caused the Lucian to do the it was like it was like turn maybe 4, and I had a miss lethal from and they were like 18 HP.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's insane.
Yeah,
the amount of rally combos for that deck is just completely insane.
I feel like that's not too bad on you, because you're not normally looking for lethals that early on. You're like, oh, turn 3, I probably don't win here. Oh shit, I do win here. Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, just the kind of broken synergy between Lucian and the Sand Soldiers generation. I don't think that interaction was really super well thought through. I mean, I'm sure that they were aware of it, but the amount of people have been able to perfect that, it gets pretty nasty. Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy because, like, the meme has been like, oh, Shurima has been underwhelming. That's what people have been saying. Is this just overall
BS?
Yeah. Well, it certainly has it certainly has moments to shine, but like we're only a third, or well, maybe we have 1 of 3 sets right coming out with Shurima that are featuring Shurima.
Now, I did not play during the Season of Fortune expansion or whatever it was called. Whenever Billswater dropped, I did not play at the beginning of Targon. But at least what I've heard is that Targon at least did not become the absolute force it was at the end of the Targon seasons that it was at the beginning. So gives pretty much
it was the same.
It just needs a little bit more cards to fill it out. It's already got some pretty nutty decks. Give it a rest.
Yeah. I mean, any more Sand Soldier synergy
They cannot add any more cards for Sand Soldiers. If they add a single more Sand Soldier card, like, bruh.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't need it. I'm sure that they have them. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Keep them tucked away.
Hold them back.
You gotta nerf Sand Soldiers to either a 0/1, so you have to buff them to have them hit, or have them be a 1/0. So you have to play them with some sort of synergy that keeps them alive. Then you can add in some more Sand Soldiers cards. But right now, they're too strong.
That's my type of game design. Yeah.
Yes. Future Sight. Only boomers won't get that reference.
Woof.
He said hodl, so I was thinking about how much I made on Doge today because it fucking spiked.
Yeah.
You invested in the crypto?
Invested is a strong word. I just played around with
it.
Investment implies I have any vested interest in losing literally all of it, which I did not put that much in. So
that is a good way to view it.
I have investments in more secure things because I'm a boomer. At least in the esports eyes, I'm a boomer.
True.
Oh no, you're investing your money responsibly.
What an idiot!
Finance major. That's right. You understand the value of these things.
I'm the econ major. I'm like, dude, you go for it, man. You're putting your money away in ways that it grows every year instead of shrinks every year due to inflation.
Stupid.
Wait, you didn't invest.
But if I would have just put all my money in Dogecoin, I would be a millionaire right now.
Yeah, or you could. Bro. Yeah, but if you picked the wrong one, it would be the other way around. So.
Yeah, but did you ever learn this sound piece of investment advice in school, which is only buy stocks that are going to go up? Did they teach you that
buy
one?
the good one.
Advice. Well, the real solution is just get to know Elon Musk on a personal basis, and then just figure out what he's going to tweet ahead of time, and then it's not technically market manipulation, and it's not technically insider trading, but it would be very, very profitable.
True. We call it outsider trading. Anyways, on that very dumb note, we talked about your favorite cards or card combos. How about least favorite? What do you hate playing against?
Least favorite cards.
Or combos, whichever.
Honestly, it's the same 3. I like them because of how strong they are, which means that if the opponent has them, it's just bull, right? They're things that I feel like are maybe just a little bit too strong and could use a nerf. I will happily abuse them, but I literally just lost the last game I played before coming on here to the Basilisk Scarmother combo. So,
Love it.
In terms of like actual cards, individual cards I dislike, I don't know. The thing is, I kind of like to see the value in all cards, I'm a very wholesome viewer of cards. People will often rant about, oh, this card's so bad, oh, this card's so good, and it's just like, well, I feel like this card might be good right now. Like, even if you don't change, even if there are no balance changes, some streamer is going to put out a new video, a new deck is going to become emergent on the meta, and then certain cards become stronger because that deck is present. Like, even without buffs and nerfs, the strength of various cards changes. So it's hard to really say if a specific card is like objectively, good or bad. It's just, it is. It is what it is.
True. But regardless of that, what do you hate?
Yeah, what
any
tilts you? What makes you mad?
We want to know what makes you
Yeah, what's that's under your skin there?
In the current meta, I'm gonna be honest, boys. I'm not playing it up these days to know. I've been memeing for the YouTube. I haven't been trying to actually climb. So
what about ever? Like, has there ever been least favorite deck?
Okay, ever. I enjoy playing Fiora and Tamaraka. So stinking Draven Ezreal and Noxus damaged base removal. Where if any of your units gets touched, they're dead.
Yep.
Stinking 1 mana Phlox. There you go.
Flock is good.
Flock
is a good card.
will absolutely flock you up.
Yeah. Flock. There you go. There's one of my least favorite cards in the game. Flock is dumb. It should deal 3 damage. It's 1 mana for 4 is just, it's ridiculous.
What always gets me is decks that have no reason running Flock, so you don't play around Flock. Like, I was playing against a guy playing Teemo Noxus Burn, and he was playing a bunch of weird removal. He was playing like what was it? It was the one like Noxian Guillotine and like some other weird. Yes, and shit that I was not playing around.
Was he at least playing Tribeam with the Guillotine?
I don't know. I died too quickly, but I was like, I made a block. I'm like, okay, like there's no reason this punishes me. And he threw out a guillotine. I was like, the fuck is this guy doing in your Teemo Burden deck? I was pissed.
That is the fun thing of playing.
P-I-S-T.
If you jump on a Smurf, or if you're playing like around silver and gold, it's actually more difficult. Not because of the players making necessarily the correct decisions, but more that they're making the wrong decisions with their deck building. So you get all of these completely unexpected cards. You're like, they're not running that in Scar Grounds. They wouldn't run that. And then it's like, yes, that's a decimate from the Scar Grounds. Okay.
Yeah. I know that you're 100% right. It's like actually I think it was Mo, friend of the stream, Mr. Emotional, on one of his streams was talking about how like he is much more confident playing against like top 10 ladder players than he would be playing in silver for that exact reason.
Absolutely.
Like, not only like do you know like within maybe a card or two, unless the person's feeling really spicy, like essentially exactly their deck list, right? So you can play around that stuff. But also he knows that like when a player is super good, you can actually use that to their disadvantage, where it's like,
100%.
They're going to respect things that I'm representing. I don't even need to have them. So like you can get free attacks in here and there and stuff like that, which is super like, next level type of stuff. But he was talking about how there's even like a regional difference, how like he's like, NA players, like he was like Rattling Bones is going to respect every single card that's possible because he's like, that's how he's wired. He'll play around everything and do very well, right? Because a lot of times people represent what they have, and he's very good at reading that. But you can also, like, I'm representing that I have Vengeance, but never actually have it and maybe punish that. But he's saying that, like, Brazil players, they just fucking fire shit off and they don't respect you for shit. They just, like, will go for anything.
Really
it's like they make you have it every time. So when you don't have it, you get punished, which is just like...
Just play around nothing.
Yeah.
Easy.
Honestly, I mean, that makes sense with the streamers from Brazil. They're definitely more kind of loose cannons with their mentality towards the game.
Shout out to Deech. We love you, Deech. Love it. Okay.
But yeah, that's one thing I do need to work on for my game is that I am very bad at representing cards I don't actively have in my hand. I kind of view the game as if I'm playing against a computer often, and where or that can see my hand basically, or just that like I'm going to make the optimal play given what I have, not what I could have. And that's a really big thing I need to learn is start to play around stuff that I don't have, and therefore force my opponent to also play around that.
For what it's worth, as someone who has watched a lot and casted a lot of the high-level gameplay in tournaments, there are very few people that actually do that. And like that actually, there's not...
Except for me, because I've never made a mistake.
Right.
Ever.
Well, Saucy obviously plays flawlessly as the most winningest Riot GP contestant. The actual true facts.
There you go.
Best performing Riot GP player,
it's true.
Period.
Get on my level, idiots. I've been trying to learn how to be more toxic playing Wild Rift. So
true.
Blevins is trying to teach me how to be a shithead. I'm trying. I'm learning.
I feel like it's an important skill. I don't really get it. I sometimes can tap into it a little bit, but it's mostly just kind of parroting what other people have done. I don't really feel it in my bones, you know.
Have you ever? I think I've only done it once in Runeterra, but have you ever scummed out a win with an emote?
Scummed out a win. What do you mean?
You know how, like, if you're playing a spell before you commit it, your opponent knows you're going to play a spell.
The hover.
Have you ever just let it sit there and then spammed emotes, acting like you had to get excited, but you don't, and then they concede? I've done that. I've done that. I did that in Hearthstone.
Hearthstone,
the time. Like, there were so many times I would just act like I have it and just emote, like, because in Hearthstone, like, you could see what they're targeting. So I would just take shit like that wasn't removal and just point it at their units and then stop and then emote and then point it at their units until they conceded. I did that in Hearthstone a lot.
That's awful.
I used to also bet, like, because your opponent can always see where you're hovering, which, by the way, I'm super glad that they took out in Runeterra.
Oh God, same.
But I would always, like, if I really wanted my opponent to use their hero power and not play anything, I would just hover over their hero power and hover over their portrait, like, over and over again. Every once in a while, they do it. I found the best way to troll people and to be toxic is to, in the middle of what they're saying, just play...
I hate you.
Play really stupid Metallica clips.
You're canceled.
That's fine. I don't care. Okay.
Pretty much the only use of emotes to, like, you know, manipulate the game state is I will occasionally do a sad poro when I think the opponent when I think the opponent thinks that they are in a good position. I will sad poro to encourage them to take the misplay.
Right.
And, like, go all in. But that's about it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that would maybe be construed as BM that I do via emotes in LOR is when my opponent makes a questionable play, I'm snapping off that Quinn emote. That, like,
yeah.
I love
that. I love that.
Quinn, I think, might be the most underrated emote. I think Quinn emote is underrated.
Quinn and Lux are my most used.
Ooh, Lux is a good one too.
Lux is my favorite. Whenever they emote, you snap thumbs. Snap thumbs. No matter what they emote, I always reply with that. Like, congrats. You did it.
You
Good
got
job.
there. You love to see it. Okay. Speaking of things that you love to see, Liberty, we got to know, what's your favorite Guardian in the game? Who are you rocking?
Favorite Guardian in the game? I'm honestly preferential to the default Poro.
Okay.
Do I dare say it?
That's solid.
I am not a big fan of honestly, I'm not a big fan of cosmetics for the board and for the Guardian.
Okay.
It feels wrong, almost. Like I will switch them out occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, I like the free to play feel. Like I have the Poro from the beta, but I don't use it because that would be weird. It's not the default one. So
fair enough.
What about the birthday one?
I was gonna say we're getting a new one. Birthday cake Poro.
Maybe I'll warm up to the birthday one. In terms of non-starter Poro ones, you know, it's got to be one of the dogs, right? You know?
Yeah, Doggo's good.
I like Cosmo.
I think the Cosmo, the cosmic one, it would be my vote.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
I know a lot of people are preferential to the dragon. I honestly just haven't played with the dragon enough to try it out. I am not endowed with money, so I am preferential to the ones that I can get for not very much.
Fair enough. So if you followed my advice of just buy stocks that go up, I mean,
yeah, there you go. There you go. See, well, here's the problem with the stock market. Stock market, you can make a lot of money with money you have.
True.
The second part there, having the money in the first place, is where.
Ooh, yeah, that is a hard one.
Very true. But there is a way that you can make a lot of money via Runeterra, and that is the seasonal tournament.
The seasonal
tournament. Pro transition.
That was really good.
Which is coming up soon. In the next couple of weeks, not this weekend, but the next weekend is the Swiss rounds. And then the weekend after that, of course, is the top cut. So Liberty, I know you've been talking about being more of a for fun player, but do you take off the for fun hat and go try hard during the seasonals?
I'm intending to play in seasonals, boys. The problem is that I do not have a Smurf right now, or an alt, depending on what you want to call it. So all of my YouTube content I am doing on my main, so it has made it very difficult to climb when I am playing a new deck for every day of the week.
Yep.
That has made the climb kind of difficult.
So yeah, I might hunker down. Dilemma.
Yeah. It's all the time. Oh, why aren't you top 10 masters? I'm like, because you wanted me to play like Lux Braum shit. Like, you can't have it both. Just win.
Can you play no follower, only follower buff spells .deck, please, to master?
Yeah. Seriously, though, it's like, wait, what? I want you to only play cards that get rid of your own cards. Like, okay, let's.
I want you to play. Although this was your own concoction, I want you to play the. Put shrooms in your opponent's deck and then draw cards from their deck and kill yourself deck.
That is a fun deck, though. It's like the Russian roulette deck. It's so fun.
It's a good combo. I like it.
Although, what's worse, the don't play any followers, but only play cards that buff your followers deck. The fill your opponent's deck with puff caps and then nab to kill yourself off of puff caps deck, or any deck with Yasuo in it.
That one. That's the worst one. Yeah, that one. Easy.
See, that was the
worst deck.
That was called a joke setup. So yeah, I mean,
all of those decks were from the Skunk, by the way. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I started playing Runeterra because of the seasonal. I honestly wouldn't have started playing it. That first seasonal announcement, that's what got me into it. Again, like I played in beta and put it down. So I started playing because of the first seasonal. I was only gold in time for qualification, but I was master by the end of the season, so that's something.
Nice.
And I played last one. Went 3-2.
Nice.
And so we're planning on going at it again. I'm gonna be honest. I don't expect to win because I have not been practicing. I do not know the matchups. I do not know the meta decks. I do not know the deck lists in and out. But I'll be there.
Nice.
Or at least planning on it. I've mainly just been focusing on getting getting my content routine down more than competing right now.
Honestly, fair. The seasonal, of course, is going to be. I mean, it's super. I don't want to say cutthroat because that has a negative connotation, but it will certainly be competitive. I know.
Yeah.
it's the premier tournament right now to be
my favorite part of the seasonal is watching the early matches. I love the early stuff because that's when you can get like, how we were talking about the, the less expected decks and whatnot. That's when you get the weird, like someone just throwing in a Riven in the middle of their burn deck and just like a bunch of crazy shit. Like I love those games so much. It's like my favorite in card games.
Super fun. Yeah. First pre-buy rounds at a GP are always fun.
They're the best.
That plus the 0-5 bracket are also the people, because it's not that seeing a deck that is 0-5 inherently is exciting. It's the seeing someone who went 0-5 and stayed in the tournament and is still playing. Yeah. That is the exciting part. Yeah.
It's the people who just love the game.
Yeah, people who love the game or brought like a pet deck and
I'll get this one win.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. You'd love to see it. It's so fun.
It's what I always say. You only need one win for YouTube. That's all you got.
True.
That's all you need.
So true. So you've been focusing mostly on meme and content decks. So we won't go in and discuss like heavy meta decks. But one thing I did want to talk about was, of course, we're now a few weeks after sort of the last big patch, right? Content patch where we saw Twisted Fate and Pick a Card nerfed. We saw, or adjusted technically for Pick a Card at least. We saw Wiggly Burblefish get nerfed, Aphelios get nerfed, and it was.
You mean nuked? No, it was gonna hit from orbit.
Yeah.
Orbital blasted.
It's true. Now they're all dead, but if they came back, they'd be part of the Walking Dead.
Did you guys ever watch Sonic X at all?
Yeah, Sonic X was great.
Okay,
terrible theme song.
So Eggman just blew up the moon. That's what happened to Aphelios.
There it is.
Yep. It's so true though.
Rip Aphelios. So I guess that leads me into my question of, was it too much? How do you feel about the nerfs or the meta right now? I mean, what have you been have you seen anything playable with like an Aphelios lately, Liberty?
The only Aphelios lists that are still playable in my experience are kind of Aphelios Zoe in combination with Temple. Like even with the Temple nerfs, there's still a lot of value in that kind of mono Targon synergy. You're not playing for the Aphelios weapons. That is the big change there, right? You're more just playing for the card advantage from the weapons rather than because the weapons are now bad cards instead of good cards. Before they were all, net positive cards that you also had card advantage on. Like they were slow, yes, but like if you could cast them, without being punished for their speed, they were very, very strong cards. But now they're just, the card advantage is card advantage. Like if you can outdraw the opponent's deck, it doesn't matter how much better their cards are.
Right.
If they don't have any cards, they're nothing they can do. So that's what I would say for Aphelios. It is a shame though, because when he first dropped, I loved Aphelios when he first dropped because for the labs. Like the thing is that his level up animation is so stinking cool. Oh, I love the Aphelios level up animation.
I made a prismatic one. I thought Aphelios was cool.
Yeah, I also enjoy playing Aphelios in League. Not like well, but I was definitely one of the people who cashed in on the 200 years for a little bit for a little bit of boost. But yeah, when I honestly appreciate that they held his identity going into lore. That he had to be nerfed, patch after patch after patch after being dropped. That's they at least held to the champion identity. I can respect that.
And TFT. Also in TFT.
True, he did have to get nerfed in TFT multiple times.
Yeah, he was a problem.
I wonder if he's going to be a problem in this set.
What was amusing is that people were looking at Aphelios when he was first released and being like, I don't think he's that good. And he spent did you guys were you guys familiar with the kind of rumblings from the release trailer and how they had to cut the release trailer on their Twitter for Aphelios? No. Originally, when he was first revealed, his card said Grant.
Oh, yeah. I do remember seeing that. Yeah.
So they had to actually re-upload their Twitter vid. They actually cut the release video short. They uploaded a shorter version that didn't show the card text, so they could pretend that never happened.
Yeah, we just ignore that one.
Imagine Aphelios with Grant.
Aphelios with Grant.
Yeah, it's exactly what we needed.
And people then were saying, like, overall, I think that people generally have no idea the strength of new cards. Even the best players have no idea what they're freaking talking about. That's kind of my main conclusion, having only kind of been through 2 main card drops from playing. Like, I remember all the conversations about how bad Zoe was going to be. Remember all the conversations about how bad Aphelios was going to be. You know, it's
how good Whimsy was going to be. People were so
it was going to break the game. I know.
There's so many people who were like, "Oh, Whimsy breaks the game. They're going to need to nerf Whimsy. Whimsy's going to be in every deck. Ionia is back again. This is better than." It's like, dude, this card's trash. It's not even playable. Not only is it not great, it's not playable. Like, so many people were wrong about that. But no, I think you're 100% right. I think. So take this with a grain of salt, because what I do think is that it is fun to speculate about new cards before they come out, because that's what we get to do. We don't have the ability to play them before they come out, and it's fun to speculate and all that stuff. But when push comes to shove, like, it is very hard to evaluate cards without actually having played them, and without having played them in their actual environment, right? It doesn't matter, if on paper, Aphelios is good or bad or other. It matters what the meta is like, and if he's playable in a deck, and in that too, because, like, a card like Zed, for instance. Zed hasn't changed since he was released, as far as I can remember. I don't think Zed's been changed once, and he has gone from being one of the best decks in the format in Kinku Elusives, rest in peace, to, like, maybe sometimes fringe, like, B- tier playable sometimes.
And then he went back to being good in the Zed Lee Sin deck.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Then Zoe came out, and now we don't see that anymore. Now we see, like, Jarvan Lee, or not Jarvan Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
the Jarvan Lee Sin
deck.
Someone
make Jarvan Lee Sin. I want to play that deck. But, like, Zed literally has not been touched since beta, as far as I can remember, and I don't think he was ever changed as a card. And yet sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. So it's not all about, like, the power of the card inherently. It's about what's around it. So,
for sure.
Yeah, so what do you think about the meta game stuff right now, Blevins? Because I've actually been having a great time. I've been enjoying playing stuff ever since the most recent balance patch. Now that TF Fizz has fallen again this past week, its win rate has gone down a bit as well. It's been really, really fun. What have you been experiencing?
I will say that the most recent Fight Night was one of the most diverse metas we've seen in a while. We actually saw a reasonable amount of Shurima decks played in the tournament, which was cool. We saw a Lucian Azir deck, like you talked about before, Liberty, actually do quite well in the tournament, which we've seen it on ladder. It's super sweet. We saw Duckling, who's a pretty big content creator and streamer, did quite well with that. Ended up getting second place in the tournament. I think, yeah, second place in the tournament, and played that deck super well, and had a really good, found a lot of really cool lines, and knew, like, you can tell, like, knew how to play the deck, because it's like, it's not just like, oh, I'll play my my Sand Soldier guy on 1, Lucian on 2, Azir on 3, and attack every turn like an aggro deck. It's like, okay, I'm going to pass turn 1, play like a Preservarium on turn 2, past turn 3, and then on turn 5 I'm gonna play like Lucian, or I'll play Lucian on turn 4, and then on turn 5 I'll play like Azir and 2 1-drops, and I will level up Lucian and Azir on the same turn and attack you for like 1 million on one turn. And knowing when you can set that up is really cool. So we saw that. We saw there actually wasn't any deep in the tournament, but there was like Ashe Noxus, Ashe LeBlanc Noxus was was there, and just a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of Demacia Targon, which if the meta becomes like very Demacia Targon, that is a snooze fest for me because I hate that deck. It's just very boring to me.
Please. Yeah.
I don't think it's broken or overpowered or anything. It's just a boring play style to me. Like I never want to play that. Unless the Demacia Targon is
Jarvan Lee said. Oh wait, wrong.
No. Jarvan. No, but Jarvan is part of it. Jarvan Tarek. That's what I want to see.
That deck is fun.
Tarek plus Golden Aegis is sweet.
It is cool.
That deck is a whole meme, right? Because everyone thought that it was just a meme, and then people started refining it and being like, wait a minute. A double rally with a barrier? It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, I played a little bit of that deck. Now, was it tier 1? No, but was it like tier probably 2 and could use some refining to maybe be like tier 1.5? Maybe. It's definitely a cool strategy that has it's got a very powerful sort of game plan, which is cool. So yeah, I've been liking the meta a lot, at least so far. I think the amount of Demacia Targon is a little not concerning, just like kind of boring to me. But besides that, I think the meta is in a really cool place. We're seeing Ezreal, we're seeing Draven Ezreal, we're seeing aggro, which is cool. Yeah. What about you, Liberty?
A lot of aggro. Spiders came back.
True. What have you been
I've been liking a lot. I think I've been playing a lot of right now my pet deck is Ezreal Gangplank.
Okay.
I think that deck is very good. Not just because I haven't lost with it yet on ladder, but because it's very good.
Yeah. Riptide Rex?
The deck is actually strong.
Do you use Riptide Rex?
I'm running one Riptide Rex right now. So that deck is awesome. I'm running a couple Funsmith in it. It's just good. Yeah. I'm running 3 Make It Rains because people don't play around that card anymore.
True. No one is ever going to play around Make It Rain anymore.
Yeah. And it's been great. Scouts has been making a resurgence again, and it does pretty decent against Scouts. That's been fun. And then one of my favorite decks ever is very good right now, and that's Thresh Nasus. I think Thresh Nasus is very good right now. Very good right now. And the deck is super fun. I love that deck.
Same.
It's got a nutty win rate too, right?
Yeah, it's really high. It is crazy because it feels like a good old like aggro mid-range deck from Magic, like black-white mid-range, like mono-black aggro. Like you have the super aggressive starts where you could play like the Reapers and all of the Shadow Isle bullshit with kill your own with butchers and whatever. Like you can do that, but you can also just play control, kill other stuff, and win with an atrocity out of nowhere.
Oh,
and you're gonna play deny.
Yeah, and you get deny that.
Stick and sand deny, man. That's everyone's like dunking on Streama, but it has sand deny, and it has sand hush. It has both. What other region has both? Only Streama.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, it also like specifically on ladder, you can play Thresh Nasus, and like you can, like you said, it can be like a very mid-rangey sort of like aggro control, and it can play both of those roles pretty well depending. But also you can just make it like very aggro or very controlled. Like you can cut some of the early stuff and put more control options. You can cut some of the control stuff and make it very aggro, and your opponent is not going to know going into it. Like you see Thresh Nasus, you don't, or Nasus, maybe Nasus even Kindred, you don't necessarily know what you're going up against, which is very scary.
Yeah, Kindred supporting cast really fleshed out the options of Shadow Isles. There's so much, like it already was a flexible region with like a lot of options, but now with the 4/1 draw 2 and the Leech and the Shadow Isles House Spider, and some of the other ones, like they're all of a sudden Shadow Isles is just even more disgusting than it already was, man.
Yeah. Really. And there's so many decks that can't handle the Cursed Keeper into Blighted Caretaker combo. Like that is very oppressive, like for a turn 3 play.
It's ridiculous.
Cue the the space meme. Always has been.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strong. So yeah, that deck is really good. But yeah, Azrael Gangplank has been a blast. If you haven't played it yet, highly recommend checking it out.
I have tried some Ezreal Gangplank. I can attest. It is surprisingly strong.
Mm-hmm. Liberty, I know you mentioned you've been playing Braum, Vlad. Anything else that's been interesting to you on the meta?
Meta? Ugh,
well,
gross.
Okay, not meta, but what you've been playing recently.
My favorite deck from the current patch is a homebrew Marauders. It is only Marauders and Piltover for cloning.
Nice.
So I have whenever, as long as the early Marauders aren't removed, I am reliably swinging with 14/14s by the end of the game, and that's never not fun, right?
True.
Yeah. So yeah, you use the Noxus. I use Blood for Blood. I use Iterative. I use counterfeit copies, and I run draw to get more.
Nice.
I have even attempted running the Parade Electronic whatever. It doesn't usually work out, but
it's still a bad card. Parade Electro Rig.
You'll love to see it.
And then I'd go with some with the Stumpworks map, and then the Noxus support unit that grants Overwhelm.
Oh, Kato
Okay,
Kato, and
Who
then
gets tossed?
Everybody.
And then the Noxus card that does what Kato does, whatever that one is.
Oh, Might?
Yeah. So I basically run all Marauders and then a couple ways to make the Marauders lethal. Because,
Nice.
you can just chump Marauders forever, right? They're never going to win the game by themselves, unless your opponent just has a really bad develop, which is the case in some matchups. But
do you want to know the
that
real
deck
tech?
is so much fun, man.
Do you want to know the real tech for that deck? So you've got a bunch of 3 costs. You need to run Tri-Beam. But because you're only running Marauders, you can only cast Tri-Beam for 3.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's really strong. That's a very strong idea.
You can only run Tri-Beam for 3 to hope that you get Marauders, and if you don't, you just concede and go to the next game because you cheated.
Yeah.
And it was running Black Rose Spy, but that card's so sticking glitched that it's almost not worth running.
Oh.
It's hard to basically keep track of all of the ways that it, because the thing is that if you're playing it right, you can actually use it to your advantage, right? By deliberately killing the unit it's copying, and then yeah.
Yikes. But yeah, that's an interesting one that I expected to see more play eventually, like when it's fixed, and also like when people really figure out the nuance of that card. It's a really cool one.
It's such a good card.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't appreciate it. It is ridiculously strong. I know a lot of people were dunking on it just because they're like, oh, what if you cast it before you have Reputation? What then? It's like, it's a 3/2. It's fine,
Yep.
Sometimes it's all you need.
It passes the vanilla test, which is something that not every card we can say does. But Liberty, that is just about time. Thank you so much for coming on the show, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been awesome. The floor is now yours. Sell out, shout out, give people the links where they can find you.
The floor, hell yeah. Well, I'm on Twitch, Libert1844. I'm on YouTube, the same. Those are my main 2 channels these days. I will say, though, I actually have been working all weekend long on a big project.
Ooh.
I have been having sleepless nights the last 2 nights. Well, I will say in the last 3 days, I have maybe slept for 5 hours.
That does not sound healthy, but I'm excited.
For the if you guys are familiar with Serene Grace, the 2 of us have collaborated, and we have made a Runeterra music channel. So we have released we have released 1 parody song that was basically the diss track for TF Fizz to the tune of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. And today we just dropped the celebration for the anniversary, we did. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TikTok song "Astronaut in the Ocean," but we did Nautilus in the ocean. So
nice.
Y'all go check out Fervor Face on YouTube. We just dropped the new song. I've literally been working nonstop on it, and I'm pretty proud of it. Hoping everyone likes it.
That's awesome. So Fervor Face, like Noxian Fervor, go face.
That's the one.
Love
it. It's the way you teach aggro players to play the game, and also it's FF. So a solid acronym.
It's not bad. I just gave you some love. I'm excited.
I love it. Saucy, where can people find you and what you're doing?
If you want to follow me, my website is just saucy.live or saucymailman.com. I'm currently streaming Monday through Friday every day, and I'll be streaming the tournament this weekend that we talked about. And at least the first round until I get kicked out. Because I'm bringing some Marauder decks.
Let's go.
That was why we were asking you what decks you liked, because Saucy needs to submit.
Yeah, no, mine is it is different. It's got Katarina and Marauders, so
always a solid option. You gotta get
no Tri-Beam in there, but only cast it for free.
There's no Tri-Beam. There's not Tri-Beam. Sadly, there's no Tri-Beam, but there is some spice.
Poser.
Oh, fuck off.
Love to hear it. Oh, if you want to find me,
I'd love to fuck off.
You'll love to hear it. If you want to find me on Twitter at @the_Blevins, you can also find me casting on Fridays for Giant Slayer, as well as I will be on the analyst desk for the Mastering Runeterra tournament. But you can find me on Giant Slayer, twitch.tv/GiantSlayerLOR on Fridays. If you want to find the podcast, you can go to runeterrable.com, DeckPics.Live. You can follow the Twitter at Runeterrable. And soon, TM, you can go to twitch.tv/Runeterrable, but more on that in a couple weeks.
We've got some plans, everyone.
We've got plans. But we'll get more on that later. Everyone, enjoy the LOR birthday. That's coming up soon. Make sure you get your birthday event stuff. And,
log in every day.
Yeah, make sure you log in every day and get your free stuff, even if you're not going to use it. Just get it, or
you'll regret it. If you don't get the birthday cake, Poro, you are gonna regret it.
You will regret it. But that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much to our guest, Liberty. But for Liberty, for Saucy, I am Blevins, and we'll be back next week to talk about some more Legends of Runeterra. Wow. Boom.
Ah!
G